Since the dawn of humanity, countless cultures around the world have held prophecies and tales foretelling a time when an epic final battle between the forces of light and dark would destroy the earth, and where the victorious forces would be given the power to become the rulers over a new reality. And though to many this battle may seem like the legendary stuff of stories, there are those who believe that the final battle is upon us, and that Armageddon has indeed begun. However, it is essential here to understand that, contrary to popular belief, Armageddon is not a battle that can be fought and won on the battlefields of man. But rather, the true Armageddon can only be won in the hearts and souls of humanity. For though it is possible that we will see an escalating conflict rise across the face of the earth in the days and months to come, it is essential to realize that these external battles are only a reflection of the conflict that is raging within the hearts and souls of so many across the world today. For in accordance with the universal law, as above, so below, as within, so without, the increasing tensions that are rising on our global stage are surfacing in an effort to help us recognize the conflict that is taking place in the consciousness of each one of us. For today there are many who are awakening to the truth that humanity has lost its way. People all over the world are beginning to realize that the race of man is walking an unsustainable path, and that our governments, whom we have entrusted with the care of our planet and its populace, are willfully destroying the earth and its inhabitants in their tireless conquest for war and wealth. However, because we have become so dependent on the existing system and structures for our comfort and survival, many people feel powerless to step off the path and live a life that is in alignment with the truth that is growing in their hearts. For they fear that if they remove their support from the system that they have come to depend on, that threat to the system will then result in a threat to their own survival. And so, ironically, we have a growing number of people around the world who are denying the truth of their hearts for fear of the possible threat it may pose to their comfort and survival in the present. While these same people are beginning to realize that their continuing support of the existing system along its current path will at some point in the not-too-distant future lead to the inevitable destruction of the planet. And thus, in accordance with universal law, as long as more and more humans continue to allow this conflict to rage in their hearts, by denying the truth it is demanding to be acknowledged, the external manifestations of this inner conflict will continue to grow in intensity in our outer world until they eventually lead us to the final battle of Armageddon and the breaking of the world. Thus we may see that humanity's current damned if we do, damned if we don't scenario is requiring us to make a leap of faith, whereby those who see the truth of humanity's current self-destructive path are urged to take the courageous leap into the unknown, by acting according to the truth of their hearts and facing the unknown consequences of their actions, so that they may avoid the certain destruction that they see is coming. And it is because so few are able to make that leap of faith that will allow them to follow their hearts and free themselves from their attachment to the existing system on which they have come to depend, that at the close of every major world cycle, when we need it the most, we are given the blessed battle of Armageddon, by which the world as we know it may be broken so that it can be rebuilt. For it is only by breaking the world and its existing systems that those humans who felt powerless to make the leap for themselves to a new way of being are then given the push that they so desperately need to free themselves from their dependence on the crumbling system that no longer supports them, and thus be freed to discover a new way together. While the necessary destruction that comes with Armageddon and the breaking of the world also serves the essential role of eradicating the foundations of the old system, so that we can then create an entirely new foundation for an evolved way of seeing and being in the world. Thus it is the evolutionary importance of these endings that is being referred to by the speaker in the book of Ecclesiastes when he says, "Better the end of anything than its beginning." For in our spiraling evolution, each end brings us to a new beginning that is on a higher plane of our evolutionary journey. And though many will discount the stories of Armageddon and other such tales of the days of tribulation as mere myth, the reason that these stories of the past live and continue to be told in cultures throughout the world, as if prophesying what is to come, is because these events serve an essential role in facilitating humanity's spiritual evolution. And therefore, as long as that purpose needs to be fulfilled, there will always be an Armageddon and an end of days. For as long as humanity has and will ever need that push to free itself from its outmoded systems and beliefs, one can be certain that Armageddon is sure to come. If one can consider that the breaking of the world through the event of Armageddon plays an essential role in our spiritual evolution, by giving those who feel powerless to let go of a system that they have come to depend on the necessary push that will allow them to free themselves into a new way of being, then one may also come to see that there is an essential evolutionary role that is fulfilled by the prophesied days of tribulation and the end of days, which assures that one day the end will come, so that we may experience a new beginning. For though many will not allow themselves to consider the end of the world as we know it, let alone the end of themselves, it is this essential part that dying to the old plays in allowing us to evolve into the new that is expressed in the story of the fiery phoenix, whose brilliant new being is born from the flames that she herself has set to her nest and previous self. And it is this concept of giving oneself over so that they may be raised to new spiritual heights that is reflected in the words of the Taoist sage Lao Tzu when he says in the Tao Te Ching, "If you want to be given everything, you must give up everything." And though there are many for whom our talk of tribulations and the end of days will arouse feelings of fear and anger, causing them to plug their ears and tune out our voices in an attempt to deny the inevitable truth that everything we see in the material world will eventually pass away, it is important to realize here that plugging one's ears to the truth does not make the truth go away. For in accordance with the liberating law of impermanence, all that has arisen will pass away. Because the constant state of our universe is that it is always changing, as destruction leads to creation, and life turns to death, then back to life again. And it is with this understanding of the universe